The little and the two icons at the bottom. There's the gear, and there's a thing with a little list. That's the viewer list.
Yeah.
I only found that out like a couple of weeks ago, so.
Oh, I see. So you have to open and close it, or you can pop it out.
Yes.
Nice. So now I can chat and have a viewer list.
Bringing up Audacity. All right, is everybody ready to record?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm breaking the
Yep.
rules. All right. This is, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure this is episode 87. Yes, it is. All right.
Yep.
Just wanted to double check.
We should start putting a number at the name of our Twitch channel.
Well, I
Top
put it at the,
whatever.
yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, where's Audacity? All right. Everybody have Audacity up.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Xvox, voice of the Xbox community. This is episode 87, and we're back for an exciting week of gaming news. That's right, people. I got my little thing of Sprite, and I'm ready to talk about video games.
Ah.
And some changes, right?
Yes, some changes in the podcast. Not the format. We're still going to be doing the Xbox, how you know and love, but it's going to move to Thursdays. We're going to start streaming at 6:30 Eastern on Thursdays from now on, because it seems like that's the best time to get everybody together in one place at the same time. But we're also going to be adding shows like Relapse Fridays, where we kind of go back and play the games that we just can't stop playing. Like, I don't know, I could imagine Michael putting in another 1,000 hours into Destiny.
Yeah, that's a relapse game.
That's totally relapsed. Or
No one cares about it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Different kind of relapse, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you wanted to relapse, I would start my WoW subscription again. Oh, that would be a hard relapse.
Yeah. But
Ugh.
it's gonna be more like I know Maria put an interest out of playing Mass Effect on the channel again. I think that'd be pretty awesome. I want to play Phantom Dust on. That's what my game of choice is for Relapse Fridays. But we're gonna also do Let's Plays on Monday at 6:30 Eastern. Everything's gonna be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Our first game is going to be Happy Wars.
Happy Wars, yes, it's gonna be awesome.
I
Made
don't know
sure
what I'm
not
in
to
for.
play it.
Yeah,
Is that going to be out by then?
It's already out.
it's out right now.
That was an error though. That was an issue. That was an error.
Oh, I have it.
I have it downloaded, so
Yeah.
it's out.
Yeah. Have you got it on 360?
No.
I've played it on 360 for about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. I would be careful with that because they did say it was pre-release.
Yeah, it
And
was
they-
mistakenly released.
Yeah.
So what
And it-
happens if we try to play it on Monday? Well, just tell us you can't play it.
I'm not. They did recommend that people don't play it. It will for sure break your 360 version, but you haven't played it much, so it doesn't matter. But I
No, we don't care.
don't think you're supposed to play it anyway.
Oh, well,
'Cause
I guess
it
we can
was
play
a
NHL,
Yeah, it was going to be that or NHL, and I
Yeah.
guess NHL's getting the...
even though we know
Getting
nothing
promoted.
about hockey.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we're going to have, like I said, that's Let's Plays Monday, and then we're going to do Twisted Tuesdays, where either myself or somebody else is going to play PS4 and Wii U games. It's
What
kinda
about
fucked up.
PC? Does that count?
Yeah, PC counts. I think it
Tracer.
counts. But that's why it's called Twisted Tuesdays, because it's like an alternative universe where Xbox covers everything. But I'm gonna probably play Zelda. I have a good feeling because I want to keep playing that game, and I kind of need a reason to play it because every time like I look at the Wii U, I'm like, I should play that.
Wind Waker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I turn it off and I start playing Xbox with Vern. So it'll
Like
give
most
me a
people.
reason to play the Wii U. And the PS4, because I do the same thing with it. I just look at it and I'm like, well, not doing it.
Well, that's why we got to play Helldivers.
Yes. But that's something we can also play on Twisted Tuesdays. We can just pop in Helldivers and we can do this.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah.
We
Sure,
can turn it
copy
on,
of
and we can turn it on, and the first thing it can do is show us the credits because we've technically finished the game.
Hey-oh. I mean, if you wanted to play the other game that studio made, you could play Magicka, the original. That would be a nightmare because of how that game works. Friendly fire, but magic fire.
I will
So it's
kill
good.
you all.
I will murder you. I have a murdering rock of healing.
Maria has a murder bot.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yes, it's pretty awesome.
she loves her murder bot.
All right, and last but not least, I mean that's going to be it. We're not going to have a weekend show anymore.
Yeah.
Which maybe in the future we might add another weekend show back into the mix. Because we have so many different people on the podcast, we have essentially almost like 10 members.
Give or take.
So
We have 10 now?
We have a shitload of people.
That was like 8.
It depends on, it depends on how you count it.
I guess, yeah, if we throw Devin in there and also, what's his name? Smurf or whatever?
Yeah,
Smurfy? That'd be 10.
Daniel.
I think I was thinking
were you
about him with the
including
8, yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, but that's going to be the big change for the podcast. And I think it's going to be a good change. It's going to give us more views on Twitch, hopefully. And it'll be more like in the week, so I think it'll be better for most people that way. It's not like, oh, the weekend hit, now I'm not, I'm going to have to go and hang out with the family or do whatever. But then, like on Thursday, be able to I guess it would be Friday morning. You're going to be able to download the podcast and enjoy us gag nonstop about, all kinds of stupid game stuff, news, letters, people.
And each of us have our own Twitch channels that we can use to stream from, which I did a little Plants vs. Zombies, and that was okay. I wish I had a better bitrate here at my house, but
Yeah.
comes with...
It was choking for a second.
Yeah. Didn't help that it was like apocalypse thunderstorming.
Yeah.
That was loud.
It was funny, though. I heard it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the update on this site. Let's talk about letters. Let's talk about people have written in. We have more than one.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, we have... Do we have... Let's see, we have...
Two.
Two letters. Both... Well, has Nathan written us before? I think he has.
I don't know. I don't believe so. I think this is the
Really?
first time.
This is first time letter from Nathan. Okay.
I like both of these letters a lot. I really do.
But Hardeep, we know Hardeep very well. He's our first letter. And Hardeep says, "Hey guys, I have a question for you. After the announcement of the Xbox One, many gamers jumped ship, citing Microsoft's next-gen console as being against gamers, with mixed messaging on DRM, focus on TV, bundled Kinect, less power, and a higher price tag than the main competitor. However, since that time, Microsoft has done nothing but focus on games, to the point where it has arguably better AAA exclusives than the PS4. Although there haven't been any AAA exclusives out this year so far, the fall lineup is stronger than the PS4's. However, I'm still getting the feeling that the mindset of many is still that the PS4 is the gamer's choice. This is not just from the fanboys, who of course get locked into their purchase, but I get the feeling from the media too. My question is, what does Microsoft need to do to change this mindset? No doubt E3 will be all about games again, but is that enough? Is the problem that they are relying too heavily on their main franchises, such as Halo, Gears, and Forza, and need to broaden their horizons? Thanks, and keep up the great work. Hardeep."
I feel like there's a Forza joke with the Horizons, but I can't make it.
Yeah.
Brighter Horizons or something like that. You try to make something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Fail.
definitely agree that the perception is definitely not indicative of the current product. But at the same time, it seems like that was a couple months ago, and a year ago that was the main thought process. It seems to have balanced out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a place I'd like it to be, where the PlayStation 4 is actively getting shit on for having no real games, because that's how I feel about it. I mean, Bloodborne came out, but people
It's pretty niche.
Yeah, it is.
Ish.
It's
Well,
niche as much as you say it's niche. It's still a very well regarded game, and I have my thoughts
Oh, yeah.
on Bloodborne and how it's not the next best thing. It's a great game, but it's not a great next gen game. So to your point of resting on the shoulders of Halo and Gears of War and Forza, that's expected of franchises that have this birth of recognition with a console, right? I mean, Sony hasn't really done that. They've always sort of switched these things as generation goes on. Like Naughty Dog's always had this one thing, and Insomniac has one IP, right? But like Gran Turismo is like the only one that stayed consistent throughout the generations. But we haven't heard shit about a new Gran Turismo in a while, but we might this summer.
God of War has gone cross console since PlayStation 2 and then PlayStation 3, and it's looking like it's going to happen on PlayStation 4. So that would be a strong franchise across consoles as well for them.
I agree. And that's sort of a difference in philosophy between Microsoft and Sony, right? Microsoft relies on the name of a piece of software to sell it, like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, Windows as an operating system, versus Sony, which is always introducing new suites of product, right? It's just a difference in company. And it's, they're two different approaches. And I don't really think that either one you can use to say is good or bad for supporting a system. I think that if Microsoft has the same year that they had last year, where it was nothing but good-looking games that seem to push the boundaries and do new things, and they announce new stuff that looks really interesting, and Sony has the same year they did last year, where it was kind of ho-hum in some cases and kind of laborious and long-winded with a couple of interesting-looking things, I think we're going to see that public opinion shift a bit more, but I hope that we see that.
I think there'll be more of a North American thing. I don't see Europe and I guess the worldwide in general shifting too much toward Microsoft this generation. I think it's for the most part lost. So worldwide, at least.
Yeah, and the thing about the media is that I'm not sort of calling the fanboys, but they're also gamers, and they have a preference, and I think that for a lot of them, their preference is just going to be PS4. It is the most popular one worldwide. It's the more powerful machine. PSN's, it's not what it was when the PS3 came out. So I think from that perspective, I don't think that Microsoft are ever going to be able to overcome these problems with the Xbox One. I really don't. In a general media kind of way, I think if they keep going, they release good games, the system will be successful. And I still think that they can win North America, as it were. And I think they will ultimately. I think they'll put Sony in a position where they probably can't really compete with them, whether that's on just releasing so many games or price or whatever. But I think that there's only so much the mindset can improve before I just think that it's just sort of etched. Yeah, you have to wait for the next one.
Exactly, and at this point, all they can do is keep doing what they are doing, and then hopefully the next generation that comes around, they'll be in a good position. So people won't be saying, "Oh, Microsoft always gives up support at the end of a console's life. We're not getting any new IPs. We're not getting games. Why should we care about the next console?" Well, that won't be the case this generation. This next generation, I don't think.
I think this generation, it's fair to say that it's Sony's game to lose.
It is.
Like right now, if they've been real shitty about first-party IPs, but if at E3, if they announce a good lineup for this fall and just keep pushing like they did previously, they have this generation locked down. There's no way Microsoft can, there's no way Microsoft could ever beat them. They could do right now. It's selling better than the 360 ever did, and they could beat the 360 sales record, but they're not going to beat the PS4. So unless Sony massively screws up, it's not going to be an issue. For Sony, anyway. But
I would say on the Halo Gears Forza front, I think Microsoft are much better at managing their franchises, like their biggest ones than Sony are. And I don't think that Sony Worldwide Studios have been particularly well run as it stands. Whereas Microsoft, turn 10 every other year, you've had Forza. I know that Forza 2 was delayed. Yeah, and it's, and whereas, I mean, Polyphony Digital, I mean, they make great games, and they sell, they sell well, but there's no schedule there. It's just kind of, when it suits them. I'm sure that
Yeah.
Sony probably wouldn't have been too impressed really at releasing Gran Turismo 6 in December 2013 on the PS3.
No, but the issue is they still spent a lot of time on Gran Turismo 6, and it ended up, like shit. While you look at Forza, and it's like, yeah, they had 2 years, but it's massive changes, and like both studios it's not like Polyphony, they're like a 10-man studio. They're a giant studio. But it just doesn't seem their quality of work is up to what Turn 10 is delivering. Like, it just...
I think Sony's tried to have those big franchises. I mean, that's what Killzone is. That's what Resistance was an effort at with Insomniac.
But I mean,
they haven't been able to replicate.
But they can't.
Microsoft's
Yeah,
success.
they're not. They don't have that big hype machine.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen...
Except like Uncharted.
And I bring this up, but I don't think I've ever seen Sony have like a Killzone set, like a fucking 7-Eleven cup. Like, Halo gets that. Halo's going to be everywhere. Like, you're going to get posters, you'll get... Mountain Dew's going to have Halo fucking icons on it.
They kind of did that with Destiny with the marketing they did.
But that wasn't exclusive.
I know it wasn't exclusive, but I mean, Sony was co-marketing that. So
I would definitely say that, like, Uncharted and God of War have gotten to that degree of notability, but still nothing has quite topped Halo in the PlayStation Xbox era, because I mean Mario's been established for years, right? So it doesn't really matter what they do because he's always there, but nothing has gotten as recognizable as the Chief has, right? Arguably, Kratos and Nathan Drake.
I think Uncharted 4 is going to be really big, though. They might go that route with that game. We'll see.
They might. But if they're ending a franchise, which
depends on if they're ending it.
Doing, yeah. Who knows? It's an issue that we're just going to have to deal with, and it's something that we as Xbox consumers, right, primarily Xbox consumers, we just have to do our best to go, suggest to people, hey, check it out, bring someone over to the house, let them play the games, and see if they're really interested in playing it, right? That's the best you can do, unless you start buying consoles and handing them out to people. Which,
honestly, it kind of helps us as gamers because this puts Microsoft on the
back foot.
Yeah, right. They're just gonna throw everything they can now. So, and I think that's already showing. So, there's good and bad to it.
I think something about Sony is that, like, the problem for Sony when they're going after a Halo is that I think that's all they do. Like, they want a Halo killer. They don't look at a game for being its own identity. It's like, you look at, like, the best example of this is the front covers of the Resistance games. The first one had the Chimera, wherever it was, skull. The second one had like the Fable up and down mirror thing, and then the third one had this sort of orange skull again. And it was like there's no consistency between any of those. Whereas you look at Halo and Gears, and in even like Fable and stuff, they always have the main character front and center on the box. Big Master Chief. You know who he is. He's on every cover.
Yeah.
Marcus Phoenix is on all the covers. Yeah, exactly. Marcus Phoenix is on all the covers, and then when Baird was the main character, he was on it. And Sony's like, they do that sort of with Uncharted, but like their shooter franchises, like
they were obviously both Killzone and the Resistance. Both of them were attempts to break into the Halo market, and neither of them succeeded.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, and the thing is that, they've done, various spin-offs for both sort of Killzone Resistance and the PSP and PS Vita games I don't think were particularly good. And whereas I think Microsoft generally have handled all of their sort of spin-offs like pretty well. They still sold well and were good games. Whereas I don't think that Sony managed their spin-offs well at all.
Yep. So... I think we've all can tacitly agree that it's an uphill battle, but if Sony continues to not be impressive, it's going to be a bit easier of a climb.
Yeah. I mean, it's an extreme uphill climb, but I think we'll start to see them level out where they sell near the same amount in a year, but I don't think Microsoft will ever overtake what Sony has sold.
Yeah.
Not the same way PlayStation
I don't
did.
see PS4 being PlayStation 2 though. I don't see that happening.
I don't see it being.
It'll be huge.
It'll be the Wii.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. About
And
those
it's
amount of
going to
sales.
sell more than anything else, but it's going to slow down. And it's only going to slow down if Sony screws it up by not releasing games. And right now, people know Xbox games. You see ads for them everywhere. Like PlayStation games, it's kind of, even with Bloodborne, it's scarce. And you warn people. It's like, well, with the PS4, you're going to get indie games. And so that mindset's still out there. But I don't think there's anything specifically Microsoft. They just need to concentrate on games. There's nothing they can specifically do.
They got to make games and win back consumer trust. That's all they can.
Now, with Windows 10, that could be a push with how they do the streaming to your TV or something like that. But
I don't know if that's so much a factor.
That's not going to be the. I mean, it's adding features, and if they
it's
keep
a cool
adding
feature.
Features, like right now, how they're shooting out features for the Xbox One with the preview updates is nothing like we've ever seen before on PCs or on console.
Closest you get are to specific game developers that will go for that level of development, right? They promise updates every month, and there are some developers that do that, but they're few and far between because not every game developer wants to do that. So,
well, and it takes a lot of manpower to test that and to just keep tossing features out. Even on closed architecture, it's insane what they've been tossing out repeatedly.
I agree.
But you know what? You never know. There could be something they toss out that kind of turns the tables in their favor a little bit. But I don't think... But that's going to be... It's not going to help until the Xbox One becomes a $200 machine. Once it becomes cheap enough for people to go, hey, buy an Xbox One just for media stuff. Put it in your, don't buy a $400 console for it. But you get around like $150, $200, then all those extra little bells and whistles are going to be what pushes it.
To the casual market, yeah. And that's about the time Kinect should have been introduced again. But, yeah.
I think they will rebrand it.
How so?
Well, I would say with a slim console, but I think that'll be next year. But like, there's talk of this new hardcore controller, and like they did the new I don't know, had the more sort of colourful branding on the boxes and the advertising and new slogans and all that kind of thing. Like, I think they will try to sort of jazz up the brand a bit, and sort of improve that image. But I think really all they will do is just lay the foundations when they release the next console. Like that's when they'll change the mindset.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for writing in, Hardeep. Write us again. Now we have another letter. This one is from Nathan Stevenson. Well, I probably shouldn't have said his full name. Sorry. Sunderland. That's what we'll call him. Sunderland.
Sunderland for the win.
For the
I guess we could always take that out if we had to. Anyway, he writes, "Hi guys, I'd love to hear a discussion on an Xbox stream about having the original Kingdom Hearts games on Xbox. With Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out on Xbox One in the future, there has been a lot of talk about the original PlayStation DS Kingdom Hearts games also coming to Xbox. Tim Dog knows all too well about the hype surrounding this, and Phil Spencer himself has endorsed this movement. What Phil did mention was that we need to push Square Enix on this matter, and this is exactly what we've been doing. There's currently a 5,300 signature strong petition to make this happen. I have a link here. It's kind of, I'm not going to really speak it out. I guess we could put it in Twitch chat, which I'll do in a minute. But anyway, the link is here, and he says, so I think this would make an excellent discussion matter. Thanks a lot. Sunderland 06.
I think it's beyond ridiculous that they've announced Kingdom Hearts 3 for Xbox One, and yet the remixes were only on PS3. And I also think that it's ridiculous that Final Fantasy X is the HDs were only on PS3 as well. Like, I don't think that they're doing themselves. I mean, maybe Sony signed exclusivity deals or something, you know, that wouldn't surprise me. But if they're going to put these games on Xbox, then they need to put these games on Xbox.
Yeah, I think they need to as well, but do we know what kind of contracts they've made in the past for the PlayStation 2 games? Maybe they say, hey, you can never release this on any other non-Sony platform, you know?
Well, they released games on the DS.
Maybe there was an agreement in the contract for that too. I don't know. I guess we don't know enough details. And how well are they even going to sell, you know?
I think that because there's this reputation that the games have that some Xbox gamers have never played them before, there will be that interest. Mm-hmm. And there's also the fact that people who have played them on the PS2 would like to play them again because that story is confusing as all get out, right? I mean, the two, like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, it's fine, but you get to the mobile ones and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? What were they thinking? So, you know, I think we could see that being entirely possible. I'd like that to happen because I'd like to catch up on it. I enjoyed the franchise when I played a couple minutes of each of them, and I'd like to get more into it. So I hope it happens. I think I tweeted out way back when it was rumored that Square Enix, if they want to get probably 2 million more sales of that game, they will release those. And that will justify the cost instantly. But that's just my opinion.
I never played these games. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I haven't
no
either.
idea.
I haven't either.
I'm out.
I've always wanted to.
Can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest to say they don't particularly interest me, but I still think
Be
that
right back.
if you want to put the new games on Xbox and you're redoing the old ones, there's no reason not to. And the thing is that, you know, when Final Fantasy 13 came to Xbox 360, like there was talk that Microsoft paid for Square to get out of their exclusivity deal. Like, I don't think that Microsoft, if it meant paying a little bit to get them on Xbox, that I don't think Microsoft would have any problem with that. Like, if there's, you know, a deal in place or something. I mean, Square and Disney own the games, so I don't think that they wouldn't be allowed to do it.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
But then you look at I think the split for the recent HD remake of the PSP game was something like 90% to 10% in favor of PS4. So I wonder if they look at something like that and wonder, is it worth releasing? Are we going to get the sales? But you know, it's never been released on Xbox, so it would be nice to have the Kingdom Hearts.
yeah, but then I mean, I look back at when Final Fantasy 12 came out, and I think that should have been on Xbox 360, or at some point it should have been, you know. And it's like, you know, I think that what will happen at E3 is, now that Microsoft have relaxed their cross-play restrictions, that we will see Final Fantasy 14 come to Xbox One, and they sort of hinted at it. So maybe there'll be a bit more of a push on that front.
Do you think there'll be servers exclusive to just PC and Xbox One, though, that you won't be able to play on all the other servers, but since it's cross-play with PS3 and PS4?
I don't know. Well, I'm sure if whatever Square want, if it's going to come to Xbox, it'll be because they got what they wanted.
Yeah, probably.
So, and
that would be interesting. Hopefully, it would open up a way to have people on Xbox One play with PS4 users in NPC for Elder Scrolls Online. That would be pretty nice.
I kind of hope that we come into an era where publishers of these sort of games can have a bit of leeway over it, because it is such a recognizable franchise, and I think that recognition should be an important thing to determine how you approach the promotion, the existence of something. So, yeah. Like I said, I would love to have, I mean, just Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, just to get through them and get the story understanding would be nice. Because I don't know, I seriously doubt they're going to include a whole lot of the other stuff. Simply because all the other stuff is just confusing as shit. So that's what I think, at least, for his upcoming Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yes.
Vern.
All right.
Yes.
Hey,
Did you
Steve.
start recording on Audacity?
No, I did not. Yes,
Then
I did.
stop talking.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Michael. From what I've listened, it sucks when you have a game franchise come to a platform for the first time, and it's like, here's number 3. It's like, where's 1 and 2? We don't know. But who owns the license? Does someone exclusively own the licensing for 1 and 2?
As far as we know, no.
No, it's
It
just they don't want to do it.
They just didn't
It's just
release
that
on other
it's
systems
Square.
because that was how development was back, and that's in that 6th generation of consoles, right? If you got the same game on the platform, it wasn't the same game. They were completely different games, just developed in similar ways, right?
Mhm.
So that's why exclusives exist. It's because developing, something like Ratchet and Clank on the GameCube would have been like impossible because Insomniac didn't know what to program on it and anything else like that. So that's only why Madden and FIFA got out. It's because they were close enough in scope that you could do that. But as we come to this modern era where it's all x86 and all this other stuff, it's like it makes sense to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I wonder how much this would tie in with preserving older games by them just going back and... I mean, it's still content they can make money off of. People want to play it. They want to buy it and play it. Why not just go take the time and convert it to x86? I guess there's not enough to warrant it, but... I don't know. You'd think there would be enough, especially if they're going to release
You can play it
3.
on PS Now, man.
All right.
No?
No.
No.
Turn down the gain on your microphone a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Your little... We hear hum. Like it's...
Okay. Okay.
That's
I'll do
better.
it.
All right, but Hardeep, thanks for
I
writing
didn't even
in.
do anything. Sorry.
No, whatever it was, I was hearing like a static hum.
Oh, and Nathan, thanks for
Yes.
writing in. That
Thank
was
you,
you.
Nathan.
Both good letters, both good things to discuss about.
Yeah, so write us letters.
Plus,
XboxUncut.com.
author us.
All right, I know people have added themselves to the show, so I'm trying to catch up.
Next
All
is
right.
Cool.
gonna be Eric, right?
Yeah, Eric's gonna pop on and be like, "Hey,
Did
I'm
not
not
say
gonna
anything
talk
else.
for the next 30 minutes, but
Fucking prick.
I'm here."
Hey guys, I got a new nickname. Captain Disingenuous.
Yeah, I got a new nickname too. Band.
Yeah.
No, you got permabanned.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason's
Damn it,
on his
Vern.
way behind you.
Damn it, Vern. Tweet next time. God.
yeah.
Who cares if you got a response and actually got people the codes they needed and all that shit? Fuck you, man.
Oh man.
All right. Let's move.
All right, so news.
Let's go to news. Let's talk about NBA 2K14 servers are back up. You know why? Because they brought them down after saying they were gonna. Hey, we're gonna bring them down, and then
Everyone
don't
freaked
worry,
out?
your save files will be okay. It's just gonna go into an offline mode, and you're gonna be able to play. So they turn off the servers, and everybody's games are gone. It's like it doesn't load, it won't work. Hey, you just got to start a new game as an offline save. So all that career shit you did for the last year, fuck it. And that pissed a lot of people off, and now they are redoing it again. They turn the servers back on so that people can play the game they've been playing for the last year.
You know, if you're going to do saved games through a server, through an online service, how much does it really cost you to run a server in each region just for saved games? I mean, does it really cost that much not to... I understand taking down the gameplay servers because you want them to move to the next game, and I understand people do that. Not that I agree with it, I understand it, but saved games...
No, but the thing is, it's a verification check that went down, and then it made their save games null and void. why not just make it so that, hey, if I can't find the server, even though the save game's an online save that's on my console, if you can't find the server, just let me play with it. Like, there's no reason that it should completely destroy the progress I've made.
That's a good point. What the hell is even the point of a verification on a console?
But, yeah, it's going to be 18 to 27 months now instead of 16 months in is the time frame they're going to give people. Or no, from 18 to 27 months. So they're giving you a lot more time to have the servers up. And I bet this is more of a thing where they're going to go and patch the game so that the save games just transfer instead of being a big issue. Why are people messaging on...
He was saying we were missing stuff from our show notes. Because you're bad.
Well, I don't care. Steve, next time just say it.
Alright, I'll mention it at the end.
Because the reason being is for me to view what you just said, I have to mess up all the videos so that I can see what you said.
Also, it makes a very loud noise.
I'm using Metro Skype, and I got this nice little happy bubble that came up instead of
That's nice.
I don't use Metro Skype. I use.
We can have Steve make
Skype.
These news announcements.
All right,
Steve, go for it. You know what? It's that important. Let's talk about it.
I was just going to say we could do it at the end of news. Unless you want to do it now.
Let's do it now.
You can do it now.
All right,
Whatever.
Well, it's just this week we had Deus Ex Mankind Divided and announced by Square Enix and Eidos Montreal. And actually, it was a rather long trailer for it, actually, which is kind of interesting. And sounds pretty cool from what the Game Informer details were.
This is a direct sequel.
Pun, sorry?
Yeah, it kind of is. And that brings a lot of stuff because there's like it seems like they're not taking your choices that you made into the game into account. They're just sort of like taking little bits of all the endings and going, here's the canon, the canon world. Which, I mean, considering that Human Revolution was a prequel in the first place, they kind of had to shove it in these directions. So I'm fine with that. And I loved Human Revolution. I loved it to death. It was a great game, really well designed, all this sort of stuff. Incredible art style, right? Really good looking universe to play in.
Yeah, that looks the same too, the art style.
So I'm glad they're doing it, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
It sounds like they want it to be a real franchise again, though. Like they don't want it, from the way the developers were talking, like they want to start it all over again for the new generation. Like have 2 or 3 games this generation, like a Mass Effect, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm cool with it. I mean, as long as they put the time into it and doesn't turn out like Thief, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Well, that was a different development team still.
I want Deus Ex to have more side stuff in it. Like the side stuff, and I don't care.
It was like a different team on the development team, you know what I mean? For Thief.
Yeah.
It wasn't the exact same guys working on Thief that worked on Deus Ex.
I think the side stuff for that game was more interesting than almost the getting yourself involved in other people's business and stuff was really fun in that game. But
I still haven't played it.
You still haven't played it?
Do yourself a
No,
favor.
anytime I've played a Deus Ex game, man, about like 20, 30 minutes in, I get to a point where I just don't feel like playing it. It's happened every time. I tried it with all 3 of them. So
Honestly, I think the boss fights in it are probably the worst part of it.
They fixed
That's what I
that
heard.
though. They fixed that. In
I
one
do
of
have the
re-releases.
definitive edition, or whatever it was called, the director's cut. Yeah.
Yeah. Go with that. It'll be fine. Hopefully. And then the other announcement was Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
Shock.
Surprising. Not many people.
It looks like it's going to be after Black Ops 2 when it's set, though. So it's going to be another future game. So I'm curious how it'll compare with Advanced Warfare.
The thing is that Black Ops 2 had different endings.
It did.
So which one's canon, all this other sort of stuff. I mean, regardless, it was pretty much nothing. It was a bunch of numbers floating around and creating the look of the 2 guys with the pistols holding down. With the reveal date being the 26th of this month.
I was really disappointed with Black Ops 2, the campaign. So I don't know how I feel about Black Ops 3 announcement. Hopefully they get back to what I liked in the first game, but I don't think they will based on the setting. I really liked all the Cold War stuff, and with Black Ops 2 and now 3, they're kind of getting away from that. So, I mean, it still has its roots in that, obviously, with the storyline. But, yeah, I'm not too excited.
I thought it was interesting. It does seem to be keeping some of the Advanced Warfare stuff, which is what I thought that they would do. So, I mean, I really enjoyed Advanced Warfare. So I'd be interested to, and I played some of the first Black Ops, and I got to a bit where I didn't get stuck, but I sort of died a couple of times and put it down, and then I just never picked it back up again.
Yeah, early on in the campaign in Black Ops, there were a few spots where you could die. They had like insta-death kind of sections that got a little annoying. So I remember getting to that part and thinking, "Damn, this sucks. Why am I playing it?" Then once I pushed through it, I started to enjoy the campaign. You know,
It made sense. It makes sense that they're doing modern because they already have a Call of Duty game on next gen that's modern, so they got something to work off of. Even though I would like to see them do another World War II game, and hopefully they do at some point. I think they do an awesome job at settings, but they've just. I know everyone got tired of World War II, but I would love to see World War II again. I'd love to see Vietnam, Korea. I think that's something they're really good at.
My favorite setting actually is Ghosts. I know a lot of people don't like that game, but I thought that was a cool setting. I really enjoyed it a lot. I like the lore. It seemed cool, you know. So I'm assuming we're gonna get a sequel from Infinity Ward next
because of how it ended.
Yeah, how it ended. So I'd be more excited about that, even though that game gets shit on by a lot of people.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the campaign. A lot of people said it was terrible, but I liked
Ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was one of the better ones.
Anyone calls anything with any kind of semblance of a story shit. I don't know why. It's like Halo 4 shit. Who cares if it had a story to it? I don't know. I guess
they had a good screenwriter on Ghost. I think that was one of the reasons.
Do people just not want a story with their games? Or is it just that they don't want to have to take the time to understand?
Certain games you just don't care about. Like Call of Duty games, I don't give a fuck about the story. It's going to be online. It's an online-focused game. 90% of the development team's going to be all about online. And the campaign's kind of, yeah, we got it. And people do play it, but it's not... It's literally set-piece the game compared to the online.
I don't think COD is just multiplayer or is just, PvP, or it definitely does have its separate groups of players. You have people who will only PvP. You have people who only do like zombies mode. You have other people who would just play the campaign. I mean, they pull in a lot of people that play that game for different reasons. So I think that's probably why you'll get a lot of differing opinions on, hey, which one's the best game, because someone's going to come at it from a PvP angle, someone's going to come at it from a co-op angle, another person's going to come at it from a campaign angle. So,
especially with a 3-year development cycle, they can put more time into all aspects of it, so they're able to make more detailed versions of everything, which is it definitely showed in Advanced Warfare, like just how much more thought was put into that campaign, rather than just crazy set pieces. It was also like building a really cool universe and all that sort of stuff. So
hopefully they do that with Black Ops 3. I mean, like I said, I'm not that excited about it, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I won't be buying it day one unless it gets like stellar reviews, though.
Yeah, I definitely want to wait to see like more gameplay stuff and setting stuff.
All right, let's move on from all that news. Let's talk about over-the-air TV in North America. That's right, people.
Yay!
It's finally happening. So, if you're a cord cutter, everybody wanted an ability, like in Europe, where you could just kind of tune into, your local channels through your Xbox, so you could use your One Guide. And they're going to bring that using, I can never pronounce this brand's name, Hapagi, or however you pronounce it.
Hapag.
It depends. Is it French?
It's German.
German? It would be Hauptpaga.
Hauptpaga. But it's a little adapter you plug in the back, you put some bunny ears on it, and then next thing you know, you're watching live TV on your Xbox directly through it. What's nice is you get a 30-minute pause. It's not recording, it's a pause. So you can pause it, hit play, and it'll continue going for 30 minutes. And yes, I know that's technically recording, but you can't say, hey, at record this. I'm going to save this for later. That doesn't work.
It needs that big time.
Yes.
I think I heard on this. I was listening to Windows Weekly, and they said something that they announced there's going to be an update later to add recording.
It wouldn't be surprising.
Would they? You think they'd let you record? What is it? Sling TV?
I don't know.
No.
Anything with DMs, it's probably going to be stuck to over the air.
Yeah.
That's a bummer because that'd be cool if you could record Sling TV as well. Then
I would just be stuck for even over the air stuff because it'd be like the Flash, Arrow, those shows. I could just Supernatural, all that stuff that comes over the air for me.
Yeah, just get rid of Hulu if you use it for that.
But hopefully they do it. It'd be nice. And what's also a really nice feature is if, let's say, somebody's playing a game on your Xbox and you have the Smart Glass app, you can still watch TV through the Smart Glass app while they're playing a game at the same time.
I heard currently you can't change channels or anything like that, though. Right now, all you can do is just put the stream out, and then it's stuck. It's still in preview, though, so maybe that'll change.
It's a nice way of... I don't know if it's because the hardware's doing the heavy lifting for it, and it's just acting as a display. But that's nice. I really do like that.
But yeah, if they get DVR on there, I'll get it in an instant. So
well, it takes 4 GB for the 30 minutes, which makes sense. What I'm hoping is that they end up allowing you to allocate as much memory as you want, because some of us, we just
whole internal,
we use the external for games, so we got an entire internal hard drive we don't use.
That'd be great.
Like, I'll put 400 and whatever gigabyte towards the TV. I don't care.
Yeah. That'd be an awesome option.
Yeah,
it'd be really great. So yeah, hopefully it happens soon. I'd like it to.
Jason clicking.
I'm not clicking.
Someone's clicking. I hear clicking.
I don't have a clicker.
I'm not the devil this time.
I'm using a tablet. I tap.
All right. Well, let's move on to bigger hard drive support coming to the Xbox 360. That's right. You can hook up 2 terabyte hard drives to your 360 now through the preview program, which is insane. Like,
that's really cool.
This is something everybody's wanted on the 360 for a very long time, especially people like me. I bought so many games online through the Xbox 360 store. We're talking about probably around 100 games on the 360, and I'm talking about big games, not small games. So it's nice to be able to say, I can hook up a huge 2 terabyte drive, download everything, and not worry about space, and be able to play all those old games. Now, my big question is,
why?
No, not why. When I download, at one point in time, I had everything downloaded on the hard drive.
Yeah.
And that console was the slowest running console on planet Earth. Like, it dragged for any task because I had so many games on the hard drive. And I wonder if that's still going to be an issue, even with an external drive.
I doubt it.
Hopefully not. But it really did drag.
I'm sure that's part of what the preview's for. So.
But that's awesome that they're adding support for external.
I think it's awesome. I'm just kind of curious why they're adding it now. I mean, of all times. I mean, it's such a late thing to do.
To turn off Xbox Live, give people space to save their games.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the scary idea.
I hope not.
No.
I don't think so.
It's just to do it.
The problem is that the 360...
I think they're going to resell it.
The 360 is either going to be moved over to the new servers or it's going to be turned off. I mean, in the end, because it's not running on Azura. They're not anytime soon. I don't see them turning it off for at least more than a decade.
Yeah.
But by then, the choice is either going to be, are we going to move the 360 over to Azura, or are we going to we just kill it? And I'm hoping they just go ahead and move it over.
I think they'll move it.
Yeah.
I think they'll move it, and I wouldn't be surprised if 360 games can somehow be run on whatever the next Xbox is going to be.
Yeah. Or you know what? It'd be awesome if they just released, since we got USB 3.0, if they could just release like a tiny little 360, I could hook up to the back of my goddamn Xbox One that just plays the games. I know that sounds silly, but it's just, it's just like having an external hard drive. Give me an external 360 that gives me
To
Xbox
integrate
360.
into the front end, yeah.
Yeah, so I
That'd be great.
basically got a 360 hooked up to my Xbox One, and I could just play all my games.
Hopefully without any of the HDMI input lag or anything
Yeah.
like that. So.
Well, it'd be through USB, which,
Yeah.
by the way, a lot of people underestimate USB. USB 3.0 has it do way more than HDMI can, way more.
Yeah, there's
So,
a ton of bandwidth.
We'll see what happens.
I think, was it Vern that said it seemed a bit late?
Yeah. They're
I
probably
mean,
going to rebrand it and sell it again as a
when-
smaller console or something.
Peter Molyneux said after Mark Whitten left that there were things that Phil Spencer wanted to do on the iOS updates that basically Mark Whitten wouldn't let him do. And I think that it's for whatever reason. So I think it's interesting that this is coming now when, ultimately it does seem incredibly late to do it. So I wonder if that was, if that
One of
was part
those
of the thing.
things, yeah.
Yeah. But I'd love to see them, release this separate little box to plug into my Xbox One and stuff, and then let me use the Xbox One controller to play it or something.
It makes sense because you think they gotta market it towards people that have already bought Xbox Ones also. Because if you just release it for the crowd, like here's another 360 to buy,
But here's another Roku or Apple
it's-
TV or...
I
yeah.
know we sold you the Xbox One where the only thing you'd ever have to do with it in your media center is turn on your Xbox One, but now you can turn on your 360 too. It's like, no. If they can make it like, we said earlier where you hook it up, that makes sense.
It plugs into the Kinect port. Nah,
Yeah.
no.
that would be bad.
All right, let's move along, people. Let's talk about State of Decay. It's getting 1500 gamer score. It's all new achievements. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. I'm very happy that State
I'm a
of Decay.
State of Decay virgin, so this is going to be fun for me.
All 1500 gamer score for Vern. He's gonna be
You
so
didn't-
happy.
Vern didn't have to deal with the frame rate on the 360.
No, the frame rate
I played
wasn't
the
the
trial.
big issue. The frame rate wasn't the issue. It was the pop-in. You'd get in
Yeah.
a car, you'd be driving down the street, and the next thing you know, bam, a car would literally be 2 feet in front of you, and you'd hit it. You'd be like, damn it. But it was really good.
Yeah, I
Like,
played
I mean-
the 2-hour, or the whatever that trial was. I don't remember how long it was, but that was fun. Steve.
They did title updates. They did improve it, but it was always very rough. I mean, did anyone watch the Twitch stream they did this week?
I did not.
I did, and it looks really good. Like, really good. I'm excited for what they've got next as well. And it's like, it's just like there's, you can see so far in the distance, and there's, nice sort of fog effect, and it does look good. And it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it.
For a treat.
What's the date on it?
28th
Yes.
of April worldwide.
It's going to blow your fucking mind. That's right. All right.
And how much is it if you have the 360 version?
$20.
$20, okay.
All right, April Xbox One update is now out. You should go and get it. Well, you should have it by now. But they had to hold back voice chat and server, like the dedicated server for parties, the fallback, until they can have more testing. It looks like it still needs some tweaking. But achievement notifications, Game Hub links, party chat improvements, and the What's On section is now available for Canada. It's a nice little update. I think April's been pretty good. Even though people, like we've talked about before, people thought it was a lot less than what it was. But it's a nice update.
My favorite part of the update is the Taco Bell and Gatorade advertisement.
Yes. Everybody loves Taco Bell.
Dora the Explorer. Apparently, that's what it thinks I want to watch.
Nice.
Oh man.
Maybe you do.
I still hate I don't hate it, but I still don't like the What's On tab.
Yeah, I
I don't
use
hate it. I just don't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just skim right through it. Yeah.
If they swap trending TV with my favorites so I can see what's on now, and it would be useful to me. It's like trending TV, ITV2, Britain's got more talent. I mean, you know, BBC2
Britain's
golf
got
the
more
Masters.
talent than who?
Oh, it's like there's a program like a.
I know it was just a joke.
Oh,
Dusty thinks he's funny.
I do from time to time.
Go ahead,
Van,
Steve.
Van Helsing's on. If anybody wants to watch that.
Whoa!
I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'm more of a like I just started watching Daredevil, and that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, only one episode in though. But
I finally finished season 4 of The Walking Dead, so I'm starting to get caught up.
They need go on. You should be able to go on the settings menu after they fix the settings menu and made it make more sense. But you should be able to go into a sub setting for dashboard and be able to turn off which ones you don't want. Honestly, I don't want the friends. I don't use the friends. I don't use what's on. The only ones I really use is store, pins, and the main, whatever they call it, the main one you boot up on, and that's about it. I don't. Does anyone really use anything else on the DAS?
I like the friends ones actually. I was a bit funny, but I do quite like the leaderboard, which Vern is currently top of.
That's pretty cool.
And that does upset me. But no, and I do like sort of popular with friends, and you can see what everyone's been playing, and I do like that. But yeah, it does annoy me that pins still require an internet connection.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that you really need the cloud to do it, but
I get that why they do it. They do it because your pins go across different devices, and you can update them on smart glass. But they need to implement a system where as soon as it loses connection, it just keeps the pins until it reconnects.
Yeah, it creates a local save or something of it, and then resyncs whenever you're online. That would make sense. And speaking of, you were talking about settings. People still seem to be really confused how to get to settings. All you gotta do is press the damn menu button and click settings anywhere on the front end. But I think Microsoft needs to put settings somewhere on that front screen, just so people aren't confused.
At least put a default to pin.
Yeah, or maybe you know how you have like the notification section on the top of the
just put a cog
the UI. No, just put another one right next to it, like where you sign in and stuff. Put settings up there too, or just put it somewhere where it's always there, where someone can see it and go and click on it.
So we can stop hearing the bitching. We understand.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't know is that that's not a start button anymore. It's a menu button.
It works like right-clicking on a mouse.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that anymore. It's a menu button. If you're doing anything in the operating system and you want different choices or options, you press that and you'll get if they're available.
No, but what's weird is the start button is officially dead. No controller has one anymore.
Wait,
well, yeah.
Wii U doesn't?
No, I believe they have a different name for it. I don't think anything has a start button anymore.
I'm pretty sure the Ouya has a start button.
We don't count that that piece of shit.
There's a thing called sarcasm.
Yeah. But
dude, that console has broken age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's broken something.
All right, let's move along. Let's talk about Tomb Raider. The reboot sells 8.5 million copies and breaks franchise records. So this is the best-selling Tomb Raider game of all time.
They're all sold for $2.50 on Steam.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kidding.
But they sold. This is including the definitive edition, but they're up to 8.5, and this is kind of what tells me that it's not going to stay an exclusive on the Xbox One.
No.
Oh shit.
But I'm happy to see that Tomb Raider's doing amazing sales. And
meanwhile, Square Enix is sitting in the back going, "It's such a disappointment. Why couldn't it sell another 10 million?"
They're pretty happy with it right now.
They're happy with it now, and they're getting subsidized by Microsoft.
That was so dumb in the beginning when it was like, "Oh, it sold 4 million." That's not enough. It's like, Jesus, guys. You should
No,
be
but,
happy
like,
just to sell that much.
They
It's-
put a lot of money into it, and
And it was essentially a new IP in its own way when they did that reboot. They didn't pull any assets or anything from previous games. It was just a complete reboot, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money to put into it. So the sequel won't be as expensive, obviously.
And someone else is paying for it too. so-
Exactly, that too. So they'll probably make a lot more with the sequel.
And one thing, you don't want to be confused by the amount of sales after the fact. They're not getting as much revenue for those sales. Because like you said, there's a lot of $2.50 sales on that they're not making. It's not a $60 game anymore.
Yeah,
So
but
that
they're getting
first 2, 3,
they're getting
4
a mind
million of
share.
sales. Yeah.
They're still making money, but it's not a box product. you
Yeah.
know, if they're doing digital things, so digital sales, so they're making money. But another thing is like I said, like a mind share thing. The more people that play this game, the more people are going to realize, hey, it's a good game, and a sequel's coming soon, and those people will be more likely to buy the sequel at a higher price. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Additionally, the number of games that sell above 1 million copies is not the biggest amount. So something selling 8.5 is
It's a big franchise.
It's stupid. It hurts to think about that number when you think about just how many copies it actually is. It's probably more than all the other Tomb Raiders combined in history have sold, or close to. Yeah. I mean, I got a chance to meet the composer of that game this
He's
week.
good. Jason Graves.
Yeah. It was cool to talk to. He's in North Carolina, in Raleigh, right? Like, and he just composed that entire soundtrack, and he's done a lot of work. Like, he did the Evolve soundtrack.
Did
he
you
also
ask him
did-
for an interview.
I could
You have
tweet him.
failed this
Do it.
podcast.
No, do it, man, if you can. I love him. He also composed the soundtrack for The Order, which was wonderful. Really, really good.
Also did Dead Space.
Yeah,
So
he's a good composer. He built an instrument for Tomb Raider, actually. Like this big percussion instrument. It's really badass. There's a behind the scenes on it, I think on the definitive edition somewhere. It's really, really cool. But yeah, Jason Graves is great, man. Did he say if he was going to compose for
I
Rise
meant to ask
of
him,
the
and
Tomb
I
Raider?
didn't. I can only assume, because typically if you have a composer that does good work, you stick with them, because I think they used him for at least Dead Space 2. So can only hope. But yeah, I mean, like I said, 8.5 million is uncanny, right? That's nearly untouchable. In terms of games that sell that well, there are very few that console generation that sold that well, right? It's in the top selling games of all time, more or less. So,
Congratulations to Crystal Dynamics.
I think it's a good number. I mean, how many games these days sell big numbers and don't sell a lot of them at like a lower price?
Killzone doesn't.
Yeah, but
It's a joke. It's another
yeah,
joke.
you're killing me with these jokes, man.
I know.
You're killing me.
Yeah.
But it's a good number. I mean, it's a good game. I liked it. I haven't played Definitive Edition yet, but I'm waiting for them to give it to me for free on Games with Gold.
Yeah, I'm on my third playthrough right now. I'll have to get back to it.
All right, let's move on to EA Access Vault expands with NHL 15. So, I just don't think EA Access is a good value. I don't want to have to buy EA Access and PSN Plus.
I think it's hurting the market. I mean,
It
because
Hey, you guys are
all
just you're just being disingenuous. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
we don't know what consumers
I
want.
mean, was Ubisoft's doing it, and Square's doing it, and
Man.
Activision's doing it, and now we got all these subscriptions to pay. Wait, no, we don't.
Guys, I heard the best theory behind this. The reason EA Access is bad is because it was built off the grave of the original Xbox One policies. And that's why it's a horrible service and no one should buy into.
It's so stupid. It's a great service. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And I love the theories of but if every developer does this, then you're going to have to pay everyone a fee, and it's going to ruin PlayStation Plus. Well, you got to remember, Sony doesn't own these games. Why should they get a monopoly over doing this when they're not the content owners?
Because it's Sony, and they should.
Well, they can choose to do it.
Oh, yeah,
Because
exactly.
they're the platform, The argument that annoyed me was when people were like, "Well, why don't they just put it on PC if they really want to put it on another platform so bad?" You know, that's dumb. It's not going to work on PC. Like,
how many subscriptions have worked out on PC without a huge argument over?
well,
I have a subscription on PC. It is called Humble Bundle subscription.
Yeah.
And I
Not
pay
even that,
for it
though.
once a week.
Also piracy.
Yeah, well, no, there's
I
piracy,
don't
but
steal on PC.
Steam is dominant, and EA doesn't want to make Steam their main platform because they want to push
They have
Origin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the PC user base as a whole has, for the most part, rejected Origin except for major titles. So what makes anyone think that suddenly they're going to pay a subscription on Origin to get all these games, especially when all these Origin sales have dropped the prices to these games for like $2.55 sometimes. There was a Humble Bundle that had tons of Origin games for really cheap.
The other thing is that this is really focused on like sports games and stuff, which don't come out on PC in the first place.
Not to mention Origin on PC, and I can't believe we even had this fucking argument. Not you guys, but
yeah.
They have this thing called On the House. They give away games for all you have to do is have an account and be on when they're doing the offer, and you can just redeem it. You don't even have to download it. You just got to redeem it, and it's stuck to your account. And then everyone's like,
recent, right?
Yeah, and then everyone was like, "That's a subscription." No, it's not. You have.
Well, it's not a paid subscription.
No, it's
not someone
even
having an account. It's like if Steam gives you a free game.
It's not like I don't consider my Steam account a subscription because they give me deals every now and then. It's an account I have where they have offers.
Right.
I mean, I don't update my Origin account.
Not every account you have is a subscription. My bank account's a subscription because money comes in and out.
It would only be a subscription if they sent you an email every time this happened, and then that would be the subscription.
Yeah,
the actual newsletter.
Exactly. Newsletter. It wouldn't
it's a newsletter.
That would be it.
It would just
a subscription is specifically a fee.
Yeah,
or something that you pay into.
Well, no, you can subscribe to a newsletter and not pay, and it's still considered a subscription.
A subscription is a general term because you subscribe to a newsletter, but in terms of like what they're using the subscription to mean, it's a paid service.
Well, most of the time it is, but there's a difference between a subscription and a paid subscription. That's all my point was. That's the only thing I was.
And they're not using the distinction.
The only thing that got me is because I think they wanted to call it a subscription because it made it sound worse. It made it sound something. It made it sound like, I gotta pay into this if I want to get these free games. Because the second people hear subscription,
calling it a subscription is bad is because PSN is a subscription. Xbox Live has a subscription.
Yeah.
Like those are paid subscriptions, and then once you say Origin is a subscription, you are telling people. Yes, it's a paid subscription because you're referencing other subscriptions that are paid subscriptions, which Origin isn't. It's a account.
You know what? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't want people.
That's just how.
Origin's
that's only
fucking free. Go get Origin. It's a fine service. It works.
I mean, I got Theme Hospital for free. Theme Hospital is awesome.
I'll tell you though, I think EA Access is in a lot of ways better than what we're doing with games with Gold and PS Plus,
Yeah.
Because like you pay your $5 and all the games are there. It's not like you had to download it at a previous time to be able to play it in the future. It's just all there. So it's not giving you that that requirement to keep subscribing for a long period of time in order to keep playing, a game that isn't free anymore. You know what I mean? So I think it's a lot.
It's just a difference in how it's delivered and what the point of the service is.
I think it's friendlier though.
If you've had PlayStation Plus since the beginning, and if you've got redeemed every single game, sure. If you're a new guy that just got it, EA Access is much better because you just get all these games. You don't have to be there when it was offered.
Yeah, that's
it's
what I was
just
saying.
there. Yeah. And it's so nice. And I don't get the argument of people being mad that other publishers might do this. If Ubisoft does this and I can get every Assassin's Creed, all the old Assassin's Creed games or something for a small fee, screw it. I'd rather do that, spend $5 1 month to play through all the Assassin's Creed games and just end it.
The thing is that I think that the whole reason that the EA Access was probably born was because EA probably turned around and said to Sony or Microsoft or whatever, we want I don't know if any EA games have actually really been on Games with Gold, but PS Plus, we want more of it on there because I think it is successful and the games get downloaded. But there's only so many slots that you can allocate to EA, and so far in the next gen, like apart from like 2 or 3 games across Games with Gold and PS Plus, they haven't given away sort of any of these big AAA games on the vault. So EA have looked at it and said, well, we're not going to get that exposure from them because they've got so many other games to give. So I think that it's like the complaint about them not getting them on PS Plus and Games with Gold is a bad argument because I don't think you were going to get them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might have had one title.
You might have got Peggle. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Exactly. And
I don't think Peggle would have been it. Peggle's a big seller. I think it would have been something random.
Well, the thing is not just that. I mean, also you got to think these sports games, especially like Madden 25. I mean, once they've been out for a month, their sales probably go to nothing. And being able to at least make some kind of money by throwing them onto a service, that's got to help them out at least a little,
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of revenue. What I paid $30 for a year, which is a fantastic price. But if you got 1 million or more people playing $30 a year, that's a lot of revenue.
Pretty much all of EA's titles are super cheap after about 6 months to a year. Like, look at copies of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. They were like $5 after a year, So, because EA is it's a company that puts out huge AAA exclusives that sell, a ton. So the used market just really makes the prices drive straight down. So for a company like them, this service makes a ton of sense. I don't know if it makes as much sense for some of the other ones. Ubisoft's probably the only other one I can think of.
Yeah.
Activision's certainly not. Activision has like 4 games out.
Activision have enough games. Square Enix maybe could pull off something like this at some point in the future. And I think maybe
2K.
Warner Brothers, 2K and Warner Brothers possibly in the future too.
That's another funny thing about this entire argument. Everyone's like, but it's going to ruin PlayStation. But this kind of service isn't really suited for a lot of these publishers. I mean, it's not really great for, like you said,
I can't wait till Activision for my Destiny content.
It's like we set up an Activision vault. It's got 4 games.
It's got Amazing Spider-Man. It's got the 2 Call of Duties, and it's got Destiny.
Yeah,
and COD.
That's why it's the 2 Call of Duties.
No, he's going to go retro COD. They're just going to keep adding Call of Duty.
And not all of that would be in there. You'd have for the first Call of Duty. You wouldn't have.
What about Skylanders, man? Yeah.
Skylanders.
I would have this sort of service for Telltale. Like, I don't want to pay that much money. Like, if I could pay $5 1 month and have every Telltale game that's out at the moment, finish them all, do it again in the next year, that'd be great. That'd be gaming the system.
That'd be
that.
Hey, don't get me started on Skylanders because I think they're dumb anyway. Because they should just make that game free. Why? So they could put that on every console. For a guy that has a kid, and now that kid wants to go out and buy the goddamn toys. Those toys are expensive.
Lego Dimensions!
They should be selling those toys, not the game. If they made that game free to play, they would sell so many more toys. All right, go ahead.
They're already selling a shitload of those toys.
Oh yeah, I know. But why even charge for the game? Just get people into the damn market share. Like, come on, open the gates. Just let them all in.
You need the little scanner thing.
Yeah.
They've probably done the math and they figured out that they wouldn't see a big increase in also the scanner.
You don't need a scanner. You could just use the Kinect. Tell people, fuck you if you didn't buy one.
Well, they could have added an RF to the bottom of it to where you could just put it in front of the Kinect and put the toy in the game, but hey.
Yep, that's it for news, people. EA Access, been great. Maybe one day it'll get better. It's an awful service that nobody should buy.
Yes. Screw that idea of, being able to play a game a week before it comes out for hours or for,
we had demos last gen. That's what those were called, demos.
So, do we want to talk about that Dark Side article for Phantom Dust that Kotaku put up? I mean, I wouldn't be able to explain it as well as probably Steve could, but
I've read some of it, and some of it just doesn't make sense.
I agree.
It just it doesn't make any sense for a company like Microsoft or what they've done with their IPs. I mean, just the way they're making it sound is they gave us $5 million and basically told us if we can't do it with this budget to fuck off. I mean, they probably gave you that budget because they wanted you to build a concept to see if they wanted you to go forward. The reason, like, they were like, we had all this set up for E3, and they didn't show any confidence by not even saying who's working on it and showing a CG trailer. Yeah, they showed a CG trailer probably because they weren't sure what they wanted the game to be when it was done, and they probably have another developer working on it.
Yeah, we need to probably explain this a little better. Anyway, was it Jason Schreier at Kotaku put together an article explaining pretty much what happened with not the cancellation, but canning Darkside, which is like a 50-member development team studio. They cut them off from developing Phantom Dust, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in there, but it did seem very one-sided, like Jason was saying. I mean, the main accusations were that they had a $5 million budget and that it was supposed to be a multiplayer-only game. But then Microsoft said, oh, hey, we don't want it to be just multiplayer only. We want a 6-hour, single-player campaign in there, but we're not going to give you more money for the budget. Well, apparently Darkside agreed to this. And then later on, Ken Lobb on the Tick podcast said, oh, it's going to be a 30-hour single-player RPG or something like that. And they're like, wait, what the hell's going on? And there were some other things, too. They pulled off a creative lead from within Microsoft off the game.
He left Microsoft. That was the problem.
Oh, he left Microsoft. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who?
I don't know.
They never said.
And that was the problem. I mean, obviously, they're not going to come out and say who these people are because they're under NDA. What they're doing right now is bad enough. So, but yeah, I mean, some of these things just didn't make sense. Like that $5 million thing. Like, why? I don't understand why they would suddenly agree to do all these other things with the game, like as far as single player is concerned. And then the thing was when they decided to ask for more money for the game was when they got canned, apparently. So,
see, I think there's a few problems here.
Yeah.
The first one is they signed a contract with Microsoft for a multiplayer in a game at $5 million budget. If Microsoft turn around to you a week later and say we want a single player, you don't just agree to that. And this is, a couple of devs have said the same thing. The problem is that their mistake was that they thought that they could then get Microsoft to give them more money, and having not negotiated at the time, they thought, we'll show them something really good, and then they'll say, oh, actually, hey, you guys are doing a really good job, we'll give you more money. I don't think many projects work like that, especially when they wanted like a 60% increase. Like if they'd have wanted like 10%, they probably would have got it. The thing is, Microsoft shouldn't, in my opinion, have asked for that without giving them more money, because I don't think it makes any sense. Like, I mean, this article doesn't look good for Microsoft at all, and I think that there is definitely an element of truth here. Now, there'll also be Microsoft's side, and their side will probably be that it does mention in there that they had a December milestone that they negotiated to January, and perhaps Microsoft would turn around and say, well, we wanted it in December. We were getting concerned that you probably weren't going to start delivering on time. But then, is that a surprise if they've increased the scope of the game without more resources? There's several things here. I think that that when Ken Lobb said that,
they had another developer. Yeah,
they already had a team on it.
The fact that they never announced, and I know Darkside was like, it didn't show confidence not to announce that we were working on it at E3. They didn't announce you weren't working on it at E3 because you weren't the only studio working on it, and they weren't.
Yeah, but if that's the case, and they're not telling them, hey, you're not the on studio working on it.
That's because
if that's the case, though, that's shitty, man.
This guy
really
wasn't the lead at the studio, though. The lead at the studio
maybe
probably
they knew.
No.
Maybe they knew.
You don't. When you work on a game, you don't, like, if you're an artist, you don't know what the fucking lead guy knows. You just know you're working on the art for a game. They don't tell you these things. Yeah. I mean, you're not privy to these
this
information. That's why they have NDAs. Most likely, they had top guys at the studio had an NDA where they understood if their concept did not meet the expectations of Microsoft, it's not going to go through because they probably have multiple
Well,
teams, just like
that's the
Killer
thing.
Instinct.
We don't know any of that though. We don't know the details. All we know is one developer on one team, and that side. You know.
And we're never going to find them out for Microsoft.
No,
because-
we're not, and they shouldn't have to respond. You know.
No. I mean, people don't realize this happens all the damn time in development. That's why the industry kind of sucks, especially for game developers, because you're sitting there, you don't know anything legally. You're just trying to work on a game and make money, and all of one day it just gets pulled out from under your feet.
It shows the dark side of any creative outlet, honestly, that you try to make money on. I mean, that's just how. Yeah. Yeah. but it's true. I mean, like, as a singer myself, I mean, I know how things go, and sometimes they suck, and you can't do anything about it, and you're not appreciated as an artist, and you move on and you find another job. And it's awful, but it is part of the industry, and it's part of a lot of industries, not just video games. So,
see, I think it's so late in the game with this, I'm thinking if there was any truth in this as far as Microsoft, and if there's another developer, what I'm thinking is that this was basically the deadline, and if they could not show something better than the other developer had set up, they were going to let them go. Because honestly, would you sit there and continue to give a team budget when you're not going to go forward with their product that they're making? No. Why would you waste money on a product you're never going to release now because you got another team making the game? And honestly, these guys fucked it up because, well, they probably never want to work with Microsoft ever again, but they're not going to work with a major publisher ever again because they're breaking NDA.
Well, one guy possibly, but I don't think
it was 5, I think.
5, okay,
or 4.
So,
yeah, it does.
As long as this stuff isn't leaked, though, they won't know who are the people doing this. So I don't think it's going to hurt them. If anything, I think it just makes Kotaku look kind of.
Well, Kotaku's always looked kind of.
They've always been shit.
Yeah,
but I think that Jason does good work. I mean, ultimately, he wrote on GAF that he sent this to Microsoft. Was it on Wednesday, and said, look, if you guys want to talk on the record, off the record, whatever, give your side of the story. He offered anonymity, whatever. And they just sent it back the same response that they said last time. Well, the development was continuing.
They're too big of a company to agree to something like that, though. I mean, if you're going to find two sides of groups of people like that are the size of like Darkside and don't have as much at risk, I mean, I can see I can understand why both sides would agree. But why would Microsoft even agree to give a side at this point?
No, because Microsoft's not going to put themselves in a situation where it's he said, she said. They're too big of a company to do it.
Right.
And you know what? The PR for this isn't going to hurt Phantom Dust when it does come out from the other developer.
Well, no one's going to even read this besides a small group of people like us.
It doesn't matter. Like, why would Microsoft... Like, if Microsoft did give this any credence and did that, then it would matter. But because Microsoft's going to say, hey, you know what? We don't fucking care. It just they can essentially just sweep the whole thing under the rug. Like
that's a good segue as far as we can talk about something else that happened recently.
Well,
can I just say one thing first?
Yeah.
No, go, Steve.
So I actually think that they made a mistake in picking Phantom Dust.
Yeah.
I mean, they said that Microsoft had a list of IPs that included Perfect Dark, but they were told Battletoads was not available. I think they picked the wrong game.
They did. They really did.
Crimson Skies, damn it.
You got to expect you're not going to be the only developer working on an IP this big for it, especially when they did that CG trailer at E3. This was one of their, look at this IP, we're going to release this. It's like, you got to think, you're not going to be the only one working on this because it's important for them. They could have went with something easier, especially
not
for
just like
this.
This could have easily been about Killer Instinct. It could have been, hey, fucking, we were developing Killer Instinct, and those guys got it, and they fucked us over.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Killer Instinct was not, originally it was not one studio. There were multiple studios working on a Killer Instinct, but they
pitched it to multiple studios, and one studio got the job. It's a very different situation.
Yeah, but they had to make a proof of concept.
Actually made proofs of concepts of what the game was. It wasn't going to be just, oh yeah, we made a proof of concept. None of them did, and we got
was actually what happened. Double Helix made a proof of concept demo. The other studios didn't.
Well,
Well, that's
not
right.
that,
was
we know.
that was what secured them, the thing.
No, but we don't know that. That's
We do.
all hearsay.
We
Well,
do know.
wasn't it that Microsoft wanted to give it to Iron Galaxy, but they couldn't do it, so they gave it to Double Helix?
It was because W Helix put a demo out versus the other studios, which did not. They had the breadth of work behind him,
This was
Oh, the
after
other
they probably
studios.
couldn't get Iron Galaxy to do it.
but because W Helix put a gameplay demo together as a cover letter, as a way to show that they wanted to do this, that
And
was
we're
what secured
serious,
them.
yeah.
And the thing is that a $5 million budget it's not the best to get a multiplayer demo done, because multiplayer takes a long time to get together unless you're really, really, really dedicated. And this team was also working on porting the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2 to next gen, so...
No, but that $5 million wasn't supposed to be going towards that. That $5 million was supposed to show, at least, hey, this is what the game's going to be. This is what we can do with your $5 million. You told us multiplayer, then you told us 6 hours. We agreed to it, and then Ken Lobb goes on and says it's a 30-hour game, and we're like, what the fuck? And we ask for money, and you fire us. Like, that's how the story supposedly plays out, and I don't think.
Well, the thing is, there's not enough players in this story, because there's clearly other players here, but they're not being mentioned. We don't know who they are. We don't know what the other development studios. There could be multiple other development studios. We don't fucking know. But honestly, when it comes down to it, by the time Phantom Dust comes out, places like GAF are going to have little pictures that say, was it worth the jobs of 50 people, or was it worth the livelihood of 50 people for this game? That shit's going to happen when this game releases so badly, because that's what they turn this shit into nowadays. Even though this is a common part of the gaming industry, is that you could be working on a game one day and you could be out of a job the next. It's sad, but it's
not
reality.
a good one.
It's not
really
that common.
not.
It's not that common. When it happens, it's a big deal.
Oh yeah. But it's part of what I mean. But
unless you're working for somebody like Blizzard, you more than likely your job's not as stable as.
It's more specific what position you hold. That's where you need to worry about. Like if you have a temp position, you could be gone if you just get hired on as to help finish up art or whatever. You don't have to. That's what you have to worry about. But the size of the studio is important, because as you get to the really big studios like Blizzard, right?
They're gonna have a couple hundred people, and they're gonna always be there. It's a solid.
There is a part of that, but then there's also 50 people that are temp, that are contract, that are doing these things, and those are the people that's not every case. And the same thing with really small studios, but mid-range studios, you're generally pretty safe. It all depends what you get hired on to do.
And
all depends what you get hired on to do.
And you know what? Every studio does that, because it's that by doing that, they can go, is there any, out of these 50 people, is there a talent in this 50 people that we can keep? Is there someone in here that knows what they're doing? Are they really good at their job? And if they're not, bye, go do something else. Here's your resume. You worked for us. Go find another job in the industry.
It's to alleviate crunch.
Yeah, I mean, it helps. It helps find talent, and it helps with the crunch.
It's for people to put something on their resume and say, I worked on this, and hopefully get actually hired instead of just more contract work. In some cases.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to that segue of.
Yeah, I was just saying, as far as Microsoft not commenting on something, Major Nelson did comment on something.
Yes, he did.
He did. So Jason Schreier, again, at Kotaku, did a AMA with Tyler Malka, who is pretty much the head of NEOGAF. And one of his questions, he said, "Hey, Tyler, thanks for being here. I'll ask the first question, because it's something I've long been curious about." Oh, shit, I grabbed the wrong one. Oh, no, here it is, yeah.
I thought that's what he said.
Yeah, well, this is it. He said, how often do game devs and publishers approach you offering money/favors in exchange for guerrilla advertising or GAF threads or anything else? Got any anecdotes about this stuff? You don't have to name names, but feel free to name names. I'll just get to the chase. At the end, he said, none of that makes any sense whatsoever to compromise neutrality of the site over a course, but that's the typical tactic. The most egregious recent example of attempted bribery was Major Nelson, offering to get me and the NEOGAF staff into E3 last year after the ESA decided to no longer treat us as media. The offer was to come, quote unquote, under the banner of Microsoft as like official Microsoft delegates. And I had a good laugh at that one. So anyway, he threw Major Nelson under the bus, made a little call out. Anyway, someone on GAF wrote, anonymous GAF member, I remember that. It seemed like a nice offer at the time. Plus, everyone politely declined in that thread. Plus, he openly offered it in that thread. Ah, well. Well, anyway, Evil Lore, who is Tyler Malka, responded in that same thread. And he said, yeah, it would have been fine, except for what happened when I ran into him at E3 afterwards. And then for about an hour or two, I don't think he said anything after that. So everyone's like, oh my God, what happened? What did Major Nelson do to Tyler,
Do you think he threatened him?
Yeah, exactly. So it just, you're like, okay, this must have been a really, bad thing that happened. So anyway, Major Nelson ends up making a post on GAF about this call out, which was pretty surprising based on what we've seen from Microsoft in the past. And he said, I'll just say I take issue with your choice of the word bribe. At no time did I ever imply or otherwise infer that I would expect coverage, let alone dictate the tone or tenor of said coverage. Whatever you choose to say or write or otherwise do to cover the event, or not at all, was entirely up to you. I said it then, and I'll say it again. This was 100% no strings attached, professional courtesy I was extending to another member of the community. No expectations were implied or inferred. I wanted to make sure you could see in person the Xbox briefing so you could draw your own conclusions. How or if you shared them was entirely up to you. That was it. No strings attached, period. Assuming that I would expect anything in return is just flat out wrong and misrepresents my intention. It's also incorrect to assume that I would somehow use this to create an uncomfortable situation when we would meet at E3. I think I have conducted myself in a much more professional and upstanding manner, both online and in person, that you would have understood that. Thanks, Larry. So everyone's like, oh my God, shots fired. What's going on? So
that wasn't shots fired. That was ripping the jugular vein out.
Exactly.
As I said to you on Twitter, as I would say, get fucked.
Yeah. So anyway, Tyler writes back, yeah, professional courtesy and doing your job as PR guy was how I had interpreted it, since I had no reason to think otherwise, and I declined politely as far as I'm aware, and thought nothing of it at the time, until a flagrantly disrespectful encounter at that E3 afterwards, which colored my perceptions of how you had taken the exchange in retrospect. Hence, the harsh commentary over at Kotaku. Maybe I somehow misinterpreted the scenario where I walked up to you with my group in order to thank you in person for the E3 offer, said hi, made eye contact, went in for a handshake, and then you took my hand but immediately spun a 180 while the handshake was still in progress. Directly put your back to me, to gasps and aghast facial expressions from the people I was with. A little bit 60s comic book villain, but charming in its forthrightness, I will say. But maybe it's all a misunderstanding, as unlikely as that seems, and I shouldn't have spoken harshly on Kotaku in case it was, leading to the silly public drama we have on our hands now. But had there been any room for interpretation, I would have given the benefit of the doubt. Ain't internet drama fun? At least this isn't on Twitter. Major Nelson writes back, shook your hand and a mid-shake spun around? I do not remember that at all. I may have been physically pulled away, but someone as I get physically yanked in multiple directions while at E3. If that's what happened, then my apologies. If it happened as you described, then you have every right to feel that way, and I can do nothing but apologize because that is not cool at all. That said, you declining the offer was perfectly acceptable to me. Would I have wanted you at our briefing? Of course. But the choice was yours, and your decision in no way impacted my perception of you. I still respect you and your work here. That has never changed. Major Nelson being classy again. Well, anyway, Evil Lore, I guess I don't want to read the whole thing. He pretty much backed down at this point, and they hugged it out, I guess. But this whole thing, yeah.
Anyone that's ever watched any media or anything covering Evil Lore or the guy, he seems like the biggest goddamn deuce. He seems really entitled. Like,
well, here especially.
Incredibly entitled.
Like, here especially.
I mean, dude. There was no strings attached, nothing. They were just offering
about a handshake.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you think? He's a fucking Klingon? He's going to turn his back on you and just, I denounce you. Like, no, he probably got pulled or someone fucking asked for him or something. And he turned around to see what they wanted. I mean,
It's happened to me many times. I mean, just that stupid things. Like if I do a recital or an opera or something like that, you usually meet patrons after and say hi to everyone and you're schmoozing, you know? It's so easy to just throw your attention somewhere else when you're in the middle of something. So I'm sure I've done stuff like this to people. Everyone's done stuff like this. I mean, in a big corporation, I mean, if your boss comes around when you're talking to someone else, you're going to immediately change your attention to that, you know? But it doesn't mean you're doing something like terrible.
Yeah.
So,
Although I
No,
gotta
but
say,
even if he did that, like because that's taking the handshake and be like, hey, the handshake was kind of fucked up. But the original, hey, you know, the original
bribery
argument on Kotaku is about bribery, and it's not about the handshake. It's about fucking him offering his hand. Hey, we know they're not classifying you as media anymore.
Yeah.
Let's get you into E3. We're gonna make sure it happens. No string attached. And then you say that's bribery? I don't give a fuck if you shook.
Yeah,
your
he
hand or
never
not.
even commented on the bribery accusation either.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that whole thing was shitty. It was really
look,
shitty.
if Microsoft was going to bribe anyone, come on.
Well,
It's not going to be at the most anti-Microsoft website in the world.
That's the funniest part of this whole thing is when Evil Laura said neutrality of NeoGAF. Fuck off.
Look,
There's
NeoGAF
no.
does
I'm
not-
sorry.
Look, I told Vern, and I really stand behind this now. I don't think NeoGAF has a Sony bias where they prefer it. I just think NeoGAF is anti-Microsoft.
Yeah, I think
Like,
so too.
it's not that they love Sony. It's just that, oh, fuck, Bish totally hates Microsoft for whatever reason. He really does. Like, he
Well, a
goes
lot of the
after-
mods do.
Yeah, like, no, but Bish is kind of the mod. He's the guy that comes around. Like,
Just go look at his EA Access. Just go on the EA Access thread. That's all you gotta do. That's all.
horrible.
If he called me in a different thread, someone called me out for being disingenuous because of some bullshit reason. It didn't even matter. It had to do with the speed of the dashboard, which I showed actual evidence to show my dashboard's not as slow as you guys are saying. And they were like, well, you had already opened the program, so that's disingenuous. So I rebooted my entire console, re-recorded it, and re-recorded the apps starting from a cold boot, and they were almost just as fast. And I understand not everyone, like you were in there, Vern, I understand not everyone's as fast as that. That's why I was in there. I was trying to help people out. I was like, have you checked your DNS settings? Here's a fucking program. Check the best one. I mean, there's a problem happening if you're not getting this kind of speed. And it could be on Microsoft's side. It could be on your internet.
It's all about,
But-
in all honesty, it's not about how fast you download, because even a small download, like
It's
if
a
you
response time
It's a
thing.
response time. It's about latency, and that's why DNS is so important. Because if you change your DNS to a better server, you can start like it'll appear that your internet has sped up, but it's honest. All it's doing is
It's just the fetch
responding
times,
quicker. Yeah. And you know what? That's being helpful. That's not being disingenuous. That's
But
not
here's
lying.
the thing. Here's the thing. Completely different thread. Had nothing to do with it at all in the EA Access thread. Bishop says this stuff about PSN Plus being thrown out of whack, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. That's the most ungamer friendly thing I've ever read. Saying that gamers shouldn't have the choice, that it shouldn't be allowed because I think it affects it badly. And he says, Captain Disingenuous. Neutrality? Fuck off. I mean, really. And every time I say, look, I know I'm an Xbox fanboy, but usually when I open my mouth, it's only against people that are saying bullshit, straight up bullshit. Because if I wanted to go up there and just go against every anti-Microsoft comment, I'd be on there for days. But it's usually just bullshit comments where the guy, like, you got people up there saying it takes 50 steps to get to the settings menu. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, the main reason I was bringing this up was just it was I thought it was really interesting to see Major Nelson actually come out, or Larry Herb should we call him, come out and actually make an actual response to this call out, and it was really nice to see.
He definitely
him-
didn't talk to PR about it. He wrote. He was
You
just like,
think?
fuck. Yeah, he didn't check because maybe this later on he checked with PR, but
Yeah.
that first initial, hey, the bribery shit, not cool. Like that
I
whole
just-
part, I think
I'm
that was
glad.
PR based.
I'm just glad it happened, and he came out and he defended himself, and I think it's pretty embarrassing for GAF, and it shows them as what they
Honestly,
are as a forum. You know,
Honestly, Evilor's lucky he didn't go to PR, because if he went to PR would have contacted their legal team. Because when
Yeah.
you start
Yeah.
accusing people of bribery, that's
slander.
That's
that
slander.
is.
It's literally slander.
It's literally slander.
'Cause
And it's in writing on a
Yeah.
on a website, so it's not.
It's literally considered slander that
And-
Major Nelson bribed Evil Lord.
GAF does not want Microsoft's legal team on their ass.
This is the actual use of literally, not the figurative literally.
Yeah.
This is the genuine usage of this is actually what it is, and that is
And it's
not
so-
good.
It's so fucked up because it was a nice courtesy, and to turn
It
it
was.
into fucking bribery. And just Sony. By the way, Sony had never even offered to do it with no strings attached, let alone at all.
Maybe it would have
Steve?
came off better if Microsoft and Sony both and Nintendo all came together and said, "Hey, let's help GAF." Maybe. Who knows? What were you saying, Steve?
Steve? Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I love this idea of thinking about Evil or walk up to Major Nelson, and I just love the idea of seeing this handshake and then have Major Nelson just do like this really sort of funny spin on the spot to just ignore him and all that like gasps and all
Hey,
the
you're forgetting Evilor's group of people
Yeah,
behind him.
his posse.
Was I guess Bishop was there and all that? I don't fucking know.
Hey, Dustin, can you show my tweet in the stream? Here, I'm gonna send it to you.
One sec. All right,
I'm gonna
where are
send
you
it to
sending it?
I'll just put it in Skype.
Yeah, you know.
I tell y'all, I don't want to use Skype.
You didn't go to the PR.
I know, but wait, never mind. Where should I?
I got it.
To you?
I
Okay.
got it.
All right.
I've only said it like a million times, but everybody's like, "Let's use Skype. It's great." Where did I load it up at? Oh, there it is. It shouldn't be hard for me to bring it up. 1 second.
Yeah.
Paste
Not that
and
any-
go. There
not
it
that anyone
is.
can really
It's
see
in the
it.
stream.
Oh, it's in the stream. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
people can see it.
Well, it's on delay right now, but
But I just love this idea of I've seen him like sort of spin himself round, like he sort of puts his arms there and really twists and does it. The idea, the visual image is just fantastic.
for people listening, Dustin put up a tweet that said Major Nelson didn't turn his back on Minstrel Maria and VERN at Xbox Uncut.
And that's
it's a
even
picture.
for people who don't know.
Yes, in a picture with him.
And you got to think it's got to have been like one of those High School Musical movies where you got Evilor and his entire posse, and you got Major Nelson and his PR team that's there, and it's just Evilor walking up to him. Hey man, it was nice that you offered. Here's a handshake. Did you just see what he did? And it's like, what happened after that instant? Did everyone lose consciousness and they weren't able to go, oh, I'm sorry. They did he not see Major Nelson walk away? Was it just he turned around and Evilor walked away? I don't get what happened after that instant. I don't know.
Whatever, it's over now. They
Yeah.
hugged it out, and it's just
It
pretty
makes
embarrassing.
like
It's
shit.
pretty embarrassing for the forum. Yeah, and
But
Tyler. So
the thing is, this is embarrassing for gaming. Like they wonder
is.
why it's viewed as such a juvenile thing when you've got the person who runs basically the biggest sort of core gaming forum message board out there, pretty much. And then, as much as I think Larry should have responded, the Microsoft head of programming or whatever. I mean, as I said, Major Nelson was right to defend himself, but it's embarrassing.
yeah,
It
And
should never gone this far.
that is the same forum that goes on and on about Gamergate.
No,
So-
but
Yeah,
It's the
before-
same forum that has a very clear agenda that it pushes.
Well, everyone says ignore GAF, don't talk about GAF, but all those bullshit rumors you hate reading about, where they start? GAF.
A lot of them, yeah.
A
Other things
lot of
that's
them
all
start there.
bullshit,
A
though.
lot of them. And usually, 80% of the time, those stupid rumors are bullshit. Or they're taken out of context.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. It was cool to see Larry come out and defend himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in like E3 week, like, could he meet like thousands of people? You know,
Oh,
could the number be that high? Like, I'm not.
No,
I've seen
easily.
from-
There's more
Yeah.
than 1,000. There's
Yeah.
thousands of people at E3.
dude, he meant 1,000 people just from Microsoft.
Yeah, E3 in certain areas can feel like Mardi Gras, honestly, as far as the crowd capacity. At least when
The
I was
mass
there.
of humanity.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think because they have spoken before, so he obviously probably would have recognised him. But what got me was that it made me think that like Evil was sort of, I don't know, perhaps he was expecting sort of a reception that I don't think he was going to get.
Hey, Valor, I brought the donuts, bro. Let's go.
Well,
hang.
he even threw Pete Dodd under the bus again. You know, he was bringing him out in one of the questions. And I know, I mean, what Pete did was wrong, but it's like, come on, that was so long ago. Why are you like still even worried about that? You know?
No, but you got to remember, at the end of the day, GAF runs on hits, and if Evilor can like stamp around and have a temper tantrum, which is what the Kotaku article is.
Yeah. He complained about Tony at Amazon as well.
Yeah, then he can get a lot more clicks.
What was the Amazon thing? Something about to do with OTs.
What's his name? Tony at Amazon. His signature was always cheers. You know, well, he ended up making a deal with Cheap Ass Gamer, essentially, where he'd have an official thread on all the sales that would happen on Amazon PC. And he wanted to do the same thing over at GAF, which is like self-promotion, and they would can it right away. So that's what he was complaining about, essentially. So.
All right.
Well, it's a policy of the board. You know, they have a choice; they can make it.
Yeah. So.
But
it just seems like he's holding on to a lot of shit.
Like he never lets
let it go. Yeah, he's got to let it go.
Hey, at least Seaboat's still banned for a while. Hallelujah.
He'll be right back for E3.
He'll be right back for E3.
Isn't he
but
back
at least as of right now, he's banned.
Yeah, it's back in like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Guys, get ready to hear that name Seaboat a lot. Because I guarantee
it's coming.
I guarantee as soon as probably the day that account is unbanned, we'll see a fucking post about
E3 predictions
from one of the moderators of NEOGAF using the Seaboat account. Which they're breaking their own rules because you're not supposed to have multiple accounts, but hey.
And we see why I don't use NeoGAF right here and right now.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to ignore when they start all the shit.
Well, I ignored it because I didn't know about the website until I joined this podcast. I didn't give a fuck about it.
Well, the thing is that a lot of devs actually go there to announce things, or they'll post things for the first time or exclusives. And
no, but honestly, I know NeoGAF's huge, but since Reddit has taken over the internet, I think they're going to keep slowly eating away at the gaming community of GAF.
Especially if this is how NeoGAF is presented consistently, right? It's this, and it's companies are doing their own PR, right? They're doing their own Twitch streams, they're releasing their own articles, they're letting everybody else just make it out of their table scraps, essentially, which I'm totally fine with. That's how I would prefer to promote every single game I ever make, is we're going to release a website article, or we're going to release a YouTube video, and you make the coverage. We're not going to pay you. You have to do it for us. We're not doing it for you. I would much rather that be the case.
GAF like shines. Like you got people that go and grab all those articles, put them in one place.
That's where every
Reddit shines.
That's where every forum website. That's where Tumblr shines. That's where Facebook fucking shines. Yeah. It's doing it yourself, marketing. And that's better because it's cheaper, right? You don't have to spend $10 million on a marketing budget. You release your YouTube videos and, you know, it spreads by its own nature. You hit your target audience faster.
Hey, just to break up Steve rules, are you Steve _SAFT on Reddit?
No.
Well, thank you, Steve-O, because you posted our podcast onto Xbox, the Xbox One Reddit. And
thank you.
If any of you guys are from the Xbox One Reddit, welcome to the podcast. Because apparently we're not allowed, it's self-promotion, we're not allowed to post our own podcast.
So we gotta get our fans to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, good job, Steve-O. The check will be in the mail.
I think it would make sense to post it there on like the 100th episode. But other than that,
that'd be so fucking great. If we need to get like a picture of an envelope and a stamp. Check is in the mail. Every time somebody posts our shit.
Just to mix things up, I was listening to Windows Weekly, and they were talking about they were talking to the guy that does Windows 10 technical preview, the guy in charge of it, and he was talking about how the engineers that work on Xbox are actually tightly they're working really close with the guys working on Windows 10 and Windows Phone 10 and all that. So that'll be interesting too. I'm glad to hear that they're all they're working really close with the engineers. Like, all the operating system stuff is really working together. They're going to make sure it all works together really good. So I think that's cool. I think it's interesting.
All right. Is it time to move on to what you've been playing?
No, we have one game that's coming out this week.
Oh, yeah. What game?
Mortal Kombat X. The 10th of the Mortal Kombat games come next-gen consoles and previous-gen consoles and PC. Fully featured, as these games tend to do, as NetherRealm is pretty good for that. Yeah. It's, in terms of like the fighting and everything, it seems to be the best one in the franchise. In terms of the netcode, not so much, but
So
that's
to hear.
pretty good for that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What the hell just happened?
My audio is through my
The
TV.
only issue is that the netcode isn't as good as it should or could be.
Jason, you turned blue.
I'm blue. No,
That's all right. He'll be blue.
I'm blue from GAF. I'm sorry.
So just Mortal Kombat and that's it?
I mean, there's always going to be like 1 or 2 indie games that
Maybe
come out as
Happy
they
Wars
always
Shut
do.
will
up, Michael.
officially come out.
Steve, inform me.
On Friday, there's a game coming out called We Are Doomed, which is a twin-stick shooter. It's like it's very sort of colourful, sort of like quite a nice sort of artsy art style. I can't say too much because I do actually have a review code and am embargoed. But
Shut up, Steve. Michael, back to you.
and
That's coming out.
Game Informer seems to think that Goat Simulator's out on Friday as well. But as far as I know, they haven't. They said April. They didn't say it was out this Friday.
Yeah.
Steve's got the lowdown
No,
on the
they
Goat
did.
Simulator.
They gave a date, didn't they? Like
I don't think so.
It's like May 15th. I am fucking positive they gave a date because I was laughing thinking that's going to be the day Jason takes off from work.
I will not be buying Goat Simulator.
No,
Yes.
Farming Simulator.
I will not be buying Farming Simulator on Xbox. Already own
Or I saw a date.
Farming Simulator 15.
Yeah, I don't
Good
see
order
one.
on Xbox.
Xbox One.
I'm not
Oh,
wrong.
well.
It's somewhere. They did announce a date, but
And then next week, well, I guess we'll save that for next week.
Yeah.
I think it's next week. It might be it.
all right. Let's just move on to what you've been playing because it's that time. It's getting late.
Yeah, I gotta get running soon.
All right. So Vern, tell me what you've been playing.
Borderlands 2.
How is it?
It's good. I mean, we're having fun. I mean, you're playing with me. So is Maria. We're getting kind of tired of the opening of the game. I played through it a lot. I'm kind of ready to move forward, and now we finally are. So we did some streaming of it last night, which was fun. So we'll probably be playing it again. I don't know about tonight. I don't know when we'll be back tonight, but soon we'll be playing that. And I finished up
It wouldn't be
season
till
1
real
again
late
of Walking
tonight.
Dead. Yeah, I finished up season 1 of Walking Dead again, and I'm into season 2 now. Trying to catch up. That way, I have my save ready for whenever the 3rd season comes out.
I did finish season 1 this week.
What you think?
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. It was one of those things where, it was just good. There was nothing I didn't like about it. It's just, consistently good. I didn't really like the 500 Days episode, but I assume that's setting up season 2, so that'll make more
Somewhat,
sense.
yeah.
So it'll make more sense when I do finally.
I don't
play it.
think the payoff is that great, but going back and playing it the second time, it was a little more interesting because I knew the characters a little better, but still, yeah, it doesn't set up season 2 enough. I don't think.
Oh really? Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to it and I was like, I'm not going to play season 2 yet. I'll save it. But I have to be honest, as soon as I finished that and the bit of We Are Doomed we played, I've barely touched my Xbox One this week. So
Yeah.
No, it
Wait.
just doesn't have to be your Xbox One. Anything you're playing, man.
I just noticed Devin's watching us. What the fuck, Devin? Where have you been?
I saw it too.
Liam is supposed to be on the podcast. Not you specifically, but Liam.
He's off impaling someone.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
His wife. No. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
VERN.
All right.
You do it, Vlad. You do it.
But, if the chat has any questions, let us know. So
Yeah, like, where did Michael go?
Yeah, like I'm calling Michael back. I've called like 3 times. I'm hoping he pops back on.
He didn't get his check. He's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It bounced.
Steve, I know postage and VAT tax at some point. I'm sorry.
All right. Well,
So-
I've been playing Borderlands with Vern and Maria. It's been a lot
We're
of
both
fun.
playing the same character class.
Yeah, so it's kind
The
of boring.
Gunzerker.
I should have switched it up a little bit, but I'm gonna stay with my class. But I'm like, I hit like 14 yesterday. Y'all powered leveled the shit out of me.
Yeah, you're only like
And-
one level below us.
Yeah. But yeah,
Actually, the same level as Maria, I think.
yeah, maybe. I'm gonna keep calling Michael. One day he'll answer. But
It's all right.
what else have I played? I played a lot of shit, and I'm just blanking on all of it. Let's pull up the Xbox Smart Glass app. I played Cut the Rope on Windows Phone for about
Woo-hoo!
10 minutes. That shit was badass. NHL 15. I played like half a game of it, and then I quit. But it's because I wanted to play with Vern. And now I'm glad because we're going to experience it together.
Yeah, we'll do a Let's Play on Monday.
Let's Play, yeah. But that game, when you're in the game view and you're looking down at the ice, it looks fucking real. Like, that's kind of scary. They hit the uncanny valley of, wow, the animations look just right. It actually looks like people on ice with a fucking camera in the sky. Like, that's really fucking good. But yes, once you zoom in and you start seeing those character models, not so much. But yes, but from the distance, it looks really good. Oops, I need to keep this thing up. What else have I played? I've played Forza Horizon 2. That was pretty good. I just drove around nonstop. I actually started completing a few championships that I haven't. And getting achievement points.
Usually what you do with Horizon 2, just drive around.
I know. Dying Light, we put some more hours into that.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We did. More like we put some minutes into it.
Well, I put an hour or so in.
Oh, okay.
Because I was playing with Daniel. Daniel eventually sold the game after like 2 days because
He gets motion sickness.
And I understand it's a hard thing to conquer, but I motion sickness doesn't fuck with me like that.
Well,
And
Daniel's
one day,
son.
me and Vern will go back to that game and finish it.
Yeah. After Borderlands 2, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You guys actually made Borderlands seem much more interesting than I thought it was.
Oh, were you watching, Steve?
Yeah,
you
I popped
intrigued?
by for a bit, and because I played like very briefly the first one on PS Plus, like back in the day, but then never played it. But I wanted to, and then just never did. And then my co-op friend decided not to get the collection, so I didn't.
Devin wants
Everyone.
to know if Daniel's Asian, because I called him Daniel's son. I'm sorry.
No, he's not
No.
Asian.
He's Canadian.
He's a Chinese-Canadian exchange student,
He's Canadian.
Yeah.
which I'm just kidding. It's just an ongoing Battlefield joke. Now, the problem I think with Borderlands is the first, like, fucking hour or so is really repetitive and boring, and, like, you just don't want to play it. And then after that, Borderlands gets extremely good, like, because you start getting better guns, but it suffers from the same thing that people feel Sunset Overdrive has, is where it's just like, I don't want to play it because it's, I don't get the double air jump, or I don't get a rocket launcher that's worth fucking half a damn, or the shields aren't good, because I kept dropping like every fucking 10 minutes, well, even more than that, and Vern had to keep picking me up until I was able to start buying better guns and better shields and stuff like that, and now I can kind of hold my own. I still I'm not sold on the game 100%. Like, if you said, Dustin, just sit down and play Borderlands by yourself, I wouldn't. I just would. I'm totally not for it. I don't care. I don't want to play it. But with Vern and Maria, it's a lot of fun, and it's nice to have a fourth person. Hopefully, we can get somebody else on. To play with us. But
it adjusts the enemy difficulty based on how many players there are, so it's not that big of a deal if we can't get a fourth. But it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Is that Dolphin from GAF in our text
I think
chat?
so.
Oh my god!
Don't forget. Hey, go post this on Gaff. No, just kidding.
No.
I love you, Dolphin, and your old
you can
man.
title it Vern's Back, baby.
Don't get me permed, please.
Get Steve permed.
Oh, no.
Like Kenny
I'm
G.
registering the link now. All right. Well, that's all I've been playing. I went down my list. Geometry War still sucks. I tried that again. Yeah.
I installed the update, and then I played like a very bit of the classic of Retro Evolve 1, then one of the new levels. And I was like, yeah, this is like 350 megabytes on my hard drive. It's still a waste of space.
All right, just quick question. Damn it, Michael called me back. There he goes. Michael's back. Damn it, Michael's back. He's back. All right, my question, and Michael's dark. He's in a cave in Nigeria.
I did it because I think my computer overheated. So I'm keeping the light off.
Okay. Sorry to hear that, Michael.
Did we lose the Audacity file?
Of course. The computer crashed.
Well, we're going to be redoing this whole podcast. Let's start again. I'll just rip the
Don't
audio
do that.
off of
that's
the
what we're
Twitch.
gonna do.
Don't do that.
Speaking of which, I gotta actually. It's getting like the time I have to leave right now. Gotta
All
go
right.
with the wife to go see a concert. So
Fine, go, Vern.
Yeah,
So-
Fern.
Yeah.
All right, well,
later, everyone.
has anybody played
See you,
anything
Fern.
else? No?
Don't get permabanned from the concert.
All right, bye.
I played some early stuff at the game conference I went to.
Michael, quick! There's someone behind you. Sorry.
Ain't gonna work. But yeah, sorry for shitting the
Michael,
bed.
Watch out. Well, at least it wasn't Tim this time.
Tim Dog's behind him.
Yes, Tim's behind.
You turned off your computer. Quick. Sorry.
All right, wait a second. I need to readjust these windows so it makes sense.
We need to find a better solution where the computer can shut down and the file will still be saved.
Edit scene. I need to remove Vern. Yes.
Is the podcast still going?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I've been playing. I've been getting into my job again, getting settled down, and I've been playing World of Tanks. That's about it, though. I need to get settled back in my job. World of Tanks is really fun, though. If you've never played it, I know it's coming to Xbox One. It's a damn fun game. A lot of good PvP. Very good PvP. Especially if you're into tanks, any kind of vehicles. If you're just into vehicles, you might even be able to get into tanks through this. There's tank destroyers, heavy tanks, light tanks, medium tanks. So plenty of options, plenty of different roles you can play. I'm not saying there isn't crap. There are crap parts of the game, but other than
Gold
that,
ammo.
man, well, gold ammo is fine now because
Oh, they
you can
fixed it?
actually you can buy it using silver.
Ah, okay.
But the biggest problem with the game is people that use hacking programs. Although you don't come across them very often, but when you do, once you're spotted on the map, they can spot you the entire game, and it's just the big thing about World of Tanks is the spotting system, which I think is kind of stupid to begin with. It's based off of a rating. It's based off your stealth rating on your tank. So you could, if you have a huge stealth rating, and then someone has a view range that sucks, you could be literally sitting right next to them, and they wouldn't be able to see you until you shoot. And I mean, you could be 10 meters away, even though you're in this tank that should have been seen at 100 meters off. But the camera rating kind of sucks that way. But it keeps you alive in a match. So people that use this mod called Warpack, they can see where basically everyone is as soon as they shoot. So it kind of screws up the spotting system in the game, and it gives them an unfair advantage. But other than that, I mean, it's not something you come across often. And on the Xbox One version, you'll never come across it. So I would say it's probably going to be good to come get into on Xbox One. And I've heard that it plays really good on 360. I've never played it on 360, so we'll see. I could, and they also have another game coming out, Wargaming. They have World of Warships, and that's being received very well. If you're interested in it, I recommend checking out the channel, the Mighty Jingles. He is hilarious, and he has a lot of great content as far as those kind of games go. So that's all I've been playing.
I played. I got Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes on PS4 for about £5. I'd already got all the achievements on the Xbox One version, but I wanted to play it again, so I figured I'd get it and see how it looked and everything. And
I own both, and I haven't played either.
Oof.
Kojima is a magnificent bastard. Like, seriously, I played it and I can't believe I've got to wait another 6 months for the Phantom Pain.
Yeah, sucks.
And it's like I was looking at.
No, it's just September. It's just September, so it's 3 months, not 6.
It's April. Okay, well, it's
Yeah.
now 5. It's now 5 months.
5 months. Yeah, I was about to say it's not. It's definitely not 3.
What the?
But
What am I thinking? Oh my god, what am I thinking? Some is 7. Oh, fuck.
He's thinking Halo and 7. You know the numbers. It
I was
messes-
thinking 7 in September for some reason. Ugh.
but
Maybe I
yeah,
shouldn't jump back on.
yeah.
Ugh.
So and I started the Last of Us Remastered. It seems slower than I remember, but it's good. I've not got very far. I tried to play it with remote play, and then as soon as I loaded it up, remote play broke. So then I had to get out of bed and go and turn the PS4 off. So
That sounds fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody been playing anything else this week?
Damn it. Devin,
More
if you
Garden
want-
Warfare, but you know,
Garden Warfare is fantastic.
yes, it is.
Love that game.
EA
Yeah.
Access isn't worth it. Stop trying to convince people.
Yeah, god damn it, Michael.
We all know it's garbage.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So, I think that's going to do it. I think that's going to be it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. Please write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. That is letters@xboxuncut.com. And, ask us all kinds of weird shit.
Please.
Ask us why Vern gets the right to leave at the end of the show before everybody else.
I only leave because my stuff crashes.
Well, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Vern went to a concert, and we're sitting here.
Yeah. No, screw Vern's concert. Podcast comes first. We all know it.
Don't be a bitch.
Perhaps need to have a chat with Maria and lay the law down.
Yeah. I know Tim wanted to be on this weekend, but he had something come up also, sadly.
Vern went to go see Creed and opera.
That's just wrong. But, yep, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.